Okay, so we're going to pick right up at chapter 11, where we left off, after they walked home from school and the fight. And here we go. When I got home, my mom was there. I wanted to tell her so bad. What I had seen wasn't good, and I couldn't just tell worse stuff I could just tell that worse stuff had happened to Dominic. Yeah, I think so too. It seemed crazy that no adults were helping him, but I remembered what he had said about his parents. I couldn't tell my mom without involving them too. The next couple of days, I walked past Dominic's locker a lot just to see if he was okay. I said hi a few times as well. I had decided I was going to make him do something on the weekends. I didn't want it to seem like he was just my pity project. I was trying to think who else I could invite to hang out too. It would be more fun with someone else since Dominic wasn't the best company. And then it wouldn't be heavy like all we did was talk about him getting bullied. We could just have fun like normal people. By Thursday, I had decided to ask him to hang out with us. Then I'd find Dominic in school or text him or call him if I didn't see him. Kim said sure if it was after 7 on Saturday because she had to work, but I couldn't find Dominic. I hurried home to call him. My mom doesn't let me take my phone to school. No one's supposed to even take their phones out at school, of course, but everyone does constantly, including the teachers. They can't ban phones completely because a lot of parents are worried about a school shooting or something. You know what? I do too. And my son goes to school, we're right across the street. And the best part about that cell phone is that it picks up my Wi-Fi. And while it's a very heavy subject, if the best thing I can hope is that I get a phone call that says I love you, or that his friends get the same, then I did okay. I'm okay with breaking that rule. Apparently, not my mom. She also barely let me use it after dinner because she says that's family and homework time. When I got home, I had a text from Dominic from a couple of hours earlier. Sad, it said. I sent him 3 texts. What's wrong? Were you in school? Let's make plans for weekend. Sad night good? I waited impatiently, flipping through channels on the TV, holding my phone in my lap. After 10 minutes, I called. No answer. 5 minutes later, I called again and left a message. I text him again. Are you okay? Call me. This time it's in bold letters. She's shouting. I was feeling totally panicked. I tried to calm down. Maybe he was sick, and that's what the sad face meant. Maybe he was taking a nap right now. Maybe he left his phone at home when he went somewhere. Maybe it was off, out of battery. Maybe he shared it with his parents, or they stopped paying the bill. No, he just texted me, I thought. Maybe he dropped it in the toilet. Maybe he was just sick. I paced in the kitchen until my parents got home. How was school, Mom asked. Then she frowned. Didn't you see my note? Why didn't you get the stuff out of the freezer for dinner, or turn on the oven? I mumbled an apology. Now I saw the note. I had been in the kitchen for over an hour without noticing it. My mom raced around huffing. She filled a large pot with hot water and threw the chicken into defrost. My dad rubbed his belly. Uh-oh, I'm so hungry. My daughter wants me to die of starvation. His eyes twinkled at me. I couldn't summon a smile. My mom pursed her lips. I have to leave again in 45 minutes for a meeting. You might have to eat without me, she sniffed. I just wanted to ask my parents if everything was okay and have them say yes. With my mom in a bad mood, though, I didn't want to start. Everything is fine. Everything is fine, I told myself. Isabel, my mom snapped. Could you make the salad? I'm going to just have a sandwich. You'll need to watch the chicken. Poppy has some work he needs to do tonight. After Mom left, I tried to numb my brain with the radio while I finished making dinner. I called Poppy to eat. Whoa, you set the table, he says, giving me a squeeze. I thought that was my job tonight since you were cooking. I smiled weakly. We talked a little at dinner. A couple of times I felt Poppy looking at me like he was going to ask if I was okay. I just kept my eyes down. Poppy said he'd clean up, so I fled to my room. I had my phone in my pocket the whole time, so I knew I hadn't gotten any calls or texts, but I still had to check. I called and texted Dominic again, just because I couldn't help it. Then I thought of something. My dad was singing along loudly with the radio in the kitchen. Poppy, do you know the Garcia's phone number? The Garcias? He looked confused. From church? I said. Their son Dominic is my age, you know? He wiggled his eyebrows at me. Oh, their son Dominic. I just shook my head at him. No. But can you look in the church directory? I was already going through the junk drawer. I went to my room to call, keeping my fingers crossed. It rang and rang. Finally, an old-school-sounding answering machine picked up with a message in Spanish. I hung up. Then I called back and left a message in Spanish and English. Now there was nothing left to do except keep my phone close. It was a good thing my mom was gone tonight. I knew she wouldn't remember my phone by the time she got home. I was in my pajamas and trying to read. Zornelli Houston for English when Mom came in. "You're in bed," she said. I could tell she felt bad about being mad earlier. "Yeah, I'm just really tired. I'm going to bed after I finish this assignment," I said. "I'm exhausted too," she said, yawning. "I'm going to take a shower and go to bed. Good night, sweetie." She gave me a long hug, and I almost started crying. Maybe I should tell her right now. Then she yawned another huge yawn. "I'll send Poppy in to say good night." As I lay in the dark, I held the phone in my hand, sometimes staring at the screen. I fell asleep with it under my cheek, she says. It's chapter 12. I woke up to the phone ringing. I gripped it in my bed. But then I heard my mom in her room. "Hello?" "No, no, oh my God, oh." Her voice died off into murmurs. I felt frozen in bed. Then I forced myself to get up and go in my parents' room. My mom and dad had their arms around each other, and my mom was crying. As soon as she saw me, she grabbed me hard and pulled me against her. My dad put his arm around both of us and put his face in my hair. What? I was trying to say. There was a huge knot in my stomach. My mom pulled away and looked at me. Dominic Garcia died yesterday. He killed himself. She knew it, too. I think, just reading about her character, I feel like she's what some people would call an empath. And because her and Dominic had a past when they were younger, and they kind of knew each other, she had a connection to him. And just picking up on how sad he was and everything he was dealing with in his life. How he was talking about his parents foreclosing on their house and just too much financial stress. And then him not being able to really figure out who he is and what he wants and why people are coming after him and saying awful things. I think she felt it. It was palpable. And I think that connection is what made her so self-conscious and so aware while she lay asleep at night thinking about all of this. Just my thought. Anyways, here we go. Chapter 13. My mom said I could stay home, but I went to school anyways. I felt like I had to somehow. I ended up telling my parents everything because my dad remembered that I was trying to call Dominic that night. Then, because it didn't matter anymore, I told him he was gay and being bullied. "Being bullied? That's terrible," my mom said. We were all sitting in a row on my parents' bed. They seemed to want me near them. "Did he tell anyone?" I went into the whole thing, and I could see my mom getting ticked off. An administrator said that. Now, if you don't remember, this was the vice principal, I believe, and he told Dominic to stay out of Jay's way and, not to try not to act so gay, were his exact words. So that's what she's referring to. Poppy patted her arm. "Stay calm." I could tell Poppy was a little freaked by the gay angle. Then we all had to get ready to go. I didn't see any of my friends before homeroom. I wasn't sure if I was going to burst into tears or what when I did see them. I had my head down on my desk when the morning announcements came on. "We've had a tragic loss," the principal's voice said. "Dominic Garcia, Jr. here at Southside, died yesterday from self-inflicted injuries. Out of respect for his family and confidentiality, we cannot give you any more details. Our thoughts and prayers are with Dominic's friends and family. Grief counselors are available today for any student who needs to talk to someone. Again, please keep Dominic's family in your prayers." And that was it. Nothing else was said. Chapter 14. The rest of the day was a blur. When I did see my friends, they were nice, but they wanted to know the details. I hadn't wanted to ask my mom about how Dominic did it, and she hadn't told me. So I didn't know any more than anyone else. And it didn't matter. However he had done it, Dominic was dead and gone. At lunch, people were buzzing about it. Some of Jay's friends were laughing loudly at their table. I stared at them with hate. As I was throwing my stuff away, Zoe came up to me. She looked as sad as I felt. "Hey," she said, "Dominic Garcia, that was your friend, right?" I hesitated. I wasn't sure if friend is how he'd describe me and Dominic, but I nodded. "I'm really sorry," she said sincerely and seriously. She took a deep breath. "I thought you might be interested. I'm going to go ahead in meetings, even though we don't have approval yet. I thought you might want to come." So to answer the question, yes, they do have a group, but it sounds like they don't have approval from the school committee or from teachers or something. "2," I said. "The GSA meeting tomorrow after school in the courtyard. Salazar said he can't let us use his room." her mouth twisted. If you know anyone else who might be interested, pass it on. But please, be careful. She tossed her stuff and walked away. Who was that? Jenny asked as she came up. Oh, just somebody I know, I said. Both my parents came home early, just to sit with their arms around me again, it seemed. Not that I minded. They talked a lot about feelings and seeking help and resources. Finally, I interrupted. I never thought about killing myself. Really? Do you promise you won't? My dad whispered. I promise, I said. Then we all started crying. I'm sorry, I'm a mom and I'm getting choked up because I can't imagine. So this is again, it's not as heavy as 13 Reasons Why, but it's still sad to think that people won't step in and intervene to prevent this. And so just to hear a parent that's reassuring to their child, like, hey, we're always going to be here. It doesn't really matter. And that they never want to see them harm themselves. It's kind of nice. So yeah, it did. It choked me up. After a while, my mom wanted to hear again about the bullying and what Dominic had tried to do about it. They really need to be looking into this, she declared. We don't know exactly why Dominic ended his life, but that kind of harassment can't be ignored by the adults in the school. No, it can't. I know, I said. And usually they do something, but Mom, Dominic's parents don't know, and you can't tell them. They didn't know he was gay. And I don't think this is the time for them to find out. Are you sure he was? Poppy trailed off. Gay, Poppy, is not a bad word, I said, annoyed. I don't know, but he never denied it to me, and it seemed like he was. Poppy screwed up his face, thinking. I could see he was trying to remember who Dominic was and whether he looked gay. Whatever. I turned back to my mom. Who would you talk to anyways? And what would you say? I didn't want her going out there making things even harder. She shook her head. You're right. I'm not sure. But the other boy last year who also took his life, didn't it come out later that he was bullied too? Something about Facebook? I nodded. I didn't really know anything else about it, though. She pulled me closer. I just worry there are more kids out there going through that, and no one's helping them, she said. Me too, Mom. Me too. Let's see how many pages this chapter is before I start it. Okay, we're going to have to stop here because the next chapter is a couple more pages, and we're on that 15-minute timer here. So I will pick back up for chapter 15.